Good morning! Magandang umaga po. Ito uli si Danny. Today we're going to talk about two other types of visa that I receive a lot of questions on. One is, what do we do if I'm a former Filipino, I lost my citizenship, and I want to go back to the Philippines, that I don't want to apply for dual? And the other one is for Americans, let's say, who's married to a Filipino. What kind of visa can I get so that I can stay in the Philippines with the possibility of becoming, hopefully, a Filipino citizen, if I want to be a Filipino citizen moving forward in the future? So these are the two types of visas we're going to talk about. So stay with me. The two types of visa we'll talk about will be addressing the needs of a former Filipino who does not want to be a dual citizen, wants to stay like an American citizen or a citizen of another foreign country, does not want to be dual, but does not want to go through the trouble of constantly applying for visa every time he travels to the Philippines, and wants to stay in the Philippines for an extended period of time. That's one, and that visa, I would say, is called 13G visa. And the other one is for, let's say, a non-Filipino who's married to a Filipino person and would like to know what kind of visa he could get so that he could stay with his loved one in the Philippines. And this also addresses the children of those couples. Okay, so I'm going to give you a PowerPoint presentation which hopefully will clarify this whole thing and would help you out. So here it is. Let us first talk about what the distinction is between a 13A visa and a 13G visa. A 13G visa is a permanent residence visa similar to a green card in the United States. It's generally issued to former Filipino citizens, their spouse, and minor children. So you have to be a former Filipino citizen and you lost your citizenship because you became naturalized in another foreign country. Then you can go for 13G if you do not want to apply for, let's say, dual citizenship. A 13G visa was available at that time dual citizenship was not yet available. The benefit of 13G visa is identical to 13A visa. They're similar. However, a 13A visa is also permanent residence visa for the spouse and children under 21 of a Filipino citizen. For example, let's say an American wants to marry a Filipino, wants to stay in the Philippines. Well, the spouse is a Filipino citizen, so you could get a 13A permanent residence visa for yourself and legally live in the Philippines for 1 year, probationary period. Then, after 1 year, you will be evaluated to determine if the applicant is qualified for conversion to a permanent resident status. Thereafter, only the ACRI card, that's known as Alien Certificate of Registration Identity Card, will be required to be renewed annually. And because of this, it's frequently confused as being a temporary visa. But getting an ACR card is easy, and I think it only costs about $50. So anybody who is not a non-resident and staying in the Philippines longer than 59 days is required to have and carry this so-called ACRI card. Okay, but the visa, the 13A visa, after the first year probationary period, is usually good forever. You just need to get that ACR card every year. Now, what's the benefit of a 13A visa? Well, you can obtain employment in the Philippines, just like 13G. You can lease, but of course you cannot own because only citizens are required to own. Of course, there are exceptions to this, but in general, you can lease but not own real property. You can own personal property, and you can qualify for Philippine citizenship after 5 years of residence in the country. Okay, now, and keep in mind, for those who have not watched my other videos, a foreigner can own a condominium because you do not own the real estate. You own the stock in the condominium, and it's the condominium that owns the real estate. So Americans, foreigners can own condominium but not real estate. Now, what are the document requirements for 13G? Again, this is for the Filipino, okay? It's issued to natural-born citizens who lost their citizenship because they became naturalized in a foreign country. The document requirements are notarized letter of application, general application form, and notarized. They call it the BI form number, blah, blah, blah. NSO authenticated copy of the birth certificate of the applicant, the Bureau of Immigration clearance certificate, plain photocopy of passport with English translation, if it's written in a other foreign language, by the Philippine Embassy or consulate nearest the place the passport was issued. If the applicant is joined by his or her spouse and unmarried children, copy of the marriage contract of the applicant and spouse, the birth certificate of all minor children, as NSO certified or authenticated by the Philippine Embassy or consulate nearest the place where the marriage was solemnized, or place of birth with English translation, if applicable, and a photocopy of the passport of foreign nationals dependents showing its bio page and admission stamp. That's the Philippine admission stamp. So, there are some requirements, and be sure to call the embassy or consulate to get an updated list of their requirements because this periodically changes. Now, how about the 13A visa? A notarized application letter by the Filipino spouse. So let's say an American person wants to apply. Well, the Filipino spouse will have to have a letter of application, and notarized general application form, copy of birth certificate of the Filipino spouse to prove that he or she is Filipino, authenticated by NSO, authenticated copy of the marriage contract by the NSO or Philippine Embassy abroad, if you got married abroad, immigration clearance certificate. I'm not sure what that immigration clearance certificate is, but anyway, it's listed as such. You may clarify that when you call the embassy or consulate. Copy of foreigner's passport showing the date of arrival and visa, usually Balikbayan stamp, because usually they stay here for a while, and with a Filipino spouse, and usually they get a Balikbayan and until they decide they'll go ahead and stay here. I mean, in the Philippines. Certification of savings bank account with a minimum of $10,000 on it to prove that you can financially support your family. Oh, dollars. $10,000. Yeah, that's fine. I thought it's 10,000 pesos. Pay about 20,000, this is pesos, in total for fees. 10,000 pesos for the application, and once it is approved, another 10,000 for the approval. That's about 20,000 is about $400. So $100, $200 when you apply, another $200 when it is approved. After the first application, your resident visa will be granted only for 1 year. However, that 1 year is only a probationary period. After 1 year, you will be reevaluated to determine if you're qualified for conversion to permanent resident status. Thereafter, all you need to do is get the ACRI card, which gets renewed annually, and it gives the impression that the visa is only temporary visa. It is not. Now, if you're married to a Filipina, you might also think about, this is an option, okay, about staying in the Philippines on the basis of Balikbayan Visa, which gives you 1 year in the Philippines, which requires that you get out of the Philippines once a year and then return. And in some cases, they get out of the country by maybe going to Hong Kong, Japan, some place close to the Philippines, just so you can get out and then come back.
Okay, there you have it. So get a 13G visa if you want to be in the Philippines, but are not interested in becoming a dual citizen, especially those who feel like, ooh, I'm uncomfortable with dual citizenship. So that's the kind of visa for you, 13G. And for spouses, 13A, and their children, spouses and children of a Filipino citizen. Okay. Now the 13G is you are a former Filipino but lost your citizenship due to naturalization in another country. 13A, you are currently married to a Filipino citizen. That's the kind of visa you'll get, 13A. So hopefully that clarifies this whole confusion. Oh, especially some people think that 13A is an annual renewable visa. It's not. It's a permanent visa. But because you are not a Filipino citizen, meaning you are still a foreigner, you are required to register annually and get this what do you call that, ACR card, Alien Certificate of Registration Identity Card, every single year. It's a simple process, and it costs $50. So you have to have that card every single year, which is different from applying for a visa. Okay, so hopefully that clarifies this. If you have any questions, any comments, please write them down below, and I will appreciate it if you like this video and share it with others, and subscribe so that you will get notified of any future videos I'm putting out. Okay, I will talk to you later, and make it a great day.